Hello, my friends. I hope you're doing well. Today is Wednesday, which means it's teaching day, and I'm going to explain why EFT tapping is one of my favorite tools for trauma release and lasting change. If you spent any time with me at all, you probably heard me talk about tapping and or emotional freedom technique, as it's called. And it's one of my favorite tools for helping women release stress, anxiety, limiting beliefs, emotional pain, and the effects of past experiences that are still being carried in the body because your body remembers. What I love most about EFT is it doesn't ask you to ignore your feelings. It puts you through them. It takes you to acknowledge them, and that changes everything. So the first step is acceptance. As we begin tapping, we start with a simple phrase. Even though I have this anxiety, is my example today, I deeply love and accept myself. Or even though I have this fear, I deeply love and accept myself. The words matter. When you say, even though, you're giving yourself permission to be exactly where you are. You're no longer fighting those emotions. You don't have to judge yourself for having them. You're simply acknowledging them. And it's true at that moment. And that acceptance opens the door to huge transformation. Many of us have spent years trying to suppress emotions, avoid them, distract ourselves from them, or convince ourselves, wow, we shouldn't feel them. The body doesn't want suppression. Your body wants acknowledgement. And we measure the intensity. This is a really important factor for me. Before we begin tapping, I ask clients to rate how strong the feeling is on a scale of 0 to 10. I do that with a lot of my coaching. This gives you a starting point. So maybe anxiety is at a 9. Maybe it's at a 10. Maybe the grief you're feeling is completely overwhelming. As we tap, we can track the shift. What often surprises people is how quickly the number begins to change, to go lower. Not because you're forcing change, it's because you're finally allowing yourself to feel what you've been carrying. So what happens to the brain when we do this? This is where EFT becomes fascinating to me. When you first think about anxiety, fear, trauma, limiting beliefs, or the neural pathways that are associated with all the experiences that you have, they become activated. The brain is essentially saying, whoa, 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 this isn't safe, stop. And your body responds accordingly. But as you tap, you calmly talk through the experience. Something remarkable happens. Your brain begins to notice that you are no longer experiencing the same level of distress. The memory is present, but the danger is decreasing. This process is called memory reconsolidation. The brain begins updating old information with new. So instead of, this is dangerous, the brain learns, this happened. I'm safe now. The memory remains. The emotional charge is dissolved. And that's all the work I do. Your body doesn't need to carry this forever. It remembers everything. Let's let it go. One of the most beautiful parts of tapping is you don't lose the memory. You simply stop reliving it. Many people reach a point where they can think about the difficult experience, remember it exactly what happened, but their body no longer reacts in the same way. The tightness is gone. The fear is gone. The emotional overwhelm is gone. The memory lasts, but no longer controls this present moment. That's healing. Why I use EFT so often, so many struggles women face today are connected with old experiences, old beliefs, old emotional wounds, anxiety, overwhelm, people-pleasing, perfectionism, self-sabotage, just feeling not enough, feeling unworthy, feeling unsafe. I could go on and on. These patterns don't come from nowhere. They're often rooted in experience that taught us we don't need of who we needed to be to survive. Sorry about that. EFT gives us a gentle way to revisit the experience without becoming overwhelmed by it. It allows the brain and body to update old programming and create new possibilities. Healing is possible. You don't carry every painful experience forever. You don't have to stay trapped in those old beliefs. You don't have to continue living from patterns that were created sometimes decades ago. Your body can heal. The nervous system can learn safety. The brain, the reticular activating system, will create new pathways. And EFT is one of the simplest, most powerful tools I found that processes. Sometimes healing begins with a single sentence. Even though I feel this way, I deeply love and accept myself. From here, everything will begin to change. Interested? Click on the link below. I'm going to walk you through a sample tapping of how to do it, and let's start your healing together. Kim Murphy, It's a Wonderful Life Coaching.